Okay, hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another video that will be featured on my Patreon channel. This one, I will talk about open strings and how to use open strings. It's a subject that really fascinates me, how many different sounds we can get by adding open strings on our chords. And we can get sounds that sometimes you can't get on the piano, for example. So we get to be better than the piano for a few seconds. So I figured, as usually here, it's better to, I find it more effective to actually demonstrate the subject on a song. So this one, I'm gonna play one that's not so popular, not so played here in the States. In Brazil, most people who play guitar after it, it's kind of a hit. It's a song by composer Djavan, and it's called Flor de Lis. It's a long form, and I'm gonna play. He recorded in the key of C. So most female singers play in different keys. They play like in F or G, but in the range of the melodies, it's really long. It's really gigantic, so it's hard to any key is challenging. And okay, I guess I'm just gonna play the song first, applying as many open strings as I can think of, and then the ones that I can remember, I'll come back and discuss. So Flor de Lis by Djavan. Okay, something like that. So you can see it's kind of exaggerated just to make a point. And the guitar must be really in tune if you want to do that. I'm curious to see how that will sound on the recording. Sometimes it can be a little rough. If the guitar is a little bit out of tune, you play. Oh. Yeah, I guess it's good enough. Cool. So let me show a few chords then that I started with an introduction, C major to F minor 6. So I played this guy here. So if you can see, it's a C major for 6, and then the thing that I'm adding the two top open strings, B and E, which are the major 7. And the major 3rd of this chord, C major. So I'm just to get a little extra punch, I'm adding a G here on the bottom. So it's like G, C, the notes are G, C, E, A, and then the top open 2 strings. So again, G, C, E, A, which is the 6th. So that's one thing that adds a little crunch to the chord. I'm adding the 6th and the major 7. Next to each other, so it creates a cool effect. Yeah, so what I did, and then I played an F minor 6. So like the minor applies to the chord, not to the 6th. It's a F minor chord with a major sixth. So F minor would be here, F minor 7. And then instead of playing the minor 7, which is E flat, I'm playing the open D. Which is, I guess, is already demonstrating how to use open strings. But if you can see this shape, if you know how to play, if you're a little bit into Brazilian music, you probably know how to play Corcovado, Quiet Nights, this chord here, right? If you move it down a half step, that's how it looks. Move it down a half step, that's how it looks. Move down a half step, move it down. And then here, when you get to F sharp, you don't have to use open strings, but for F minor 6, you do, because unless you have an extra finger that goes in a parallel universe. But so you have F minor 6, and the cool thing about the minor 6 chord is, if you play that chord here, if you think of the notes that are available, like the scales that you can apply for, I'm playing only 4 notes. They are the root, the 6, the minor 3rd, and the 5. I did not say 7, right, on those 4 notes. I said root, 6, minor 3rd, and 5. So the 7 here could be either minor 7 or major 7. They both sound good. So, well, I guess I'm going to have to change the, if I want to play the minor, like a chord with a 6 or a 13th, in this case, I guess it's going to make more sense to call it 13th. If I want to play the minor 7, so you play your regular F minor 7 like this. And let's replace the 5 with the 13 on top, which is, I'm replacing C with D. Okay, that's kind of the sound. That's the I'm adding the minor 7 now. However, since when you're playing this chord here, back to the original shape, you can also play the major 7, and also now we're thinking of the melodic minor scale. And it works as well. Check it out. See, there's no major conflict of interest here. You play an F minor 6, and I'm adding the major 7 on top, which is the open E string. So I say there's no major conflict of interest. For example, if I wanted to add that open string E on I'm going to pick another random chord. Let's just go half step up. That's going to be more clear, hopefully. No, it's going to be another interesting case. You play a minor 6, F sharp minor 6. No. Then I'm adding the minor 7 on top. Okay, so this is a half a tangent, but very, very interesting thing here that I was going to try to make one point. I'll make another point instead. F minor 6, if you add an E on top, that's the major 7. So bingo, like check, positive, it works. Now go up a half step. I don't know, you got to find the right place to use that sound, but it still can work, right? You're just adding a minor 7 on an F sharp minor 6 chord. Now, if you go another up, I was trying to find an example that it would not work, but those 3 work pretty super well. Like, especially this third one here, G minor 6. If you add the open E string, that is the 6th. So you're already playing the E here on the D string, and now you're doubling that with an E upstairs. But the cool thing about this one here is that I'm playing the little D here, right next to E. So D is the perfect 5th, and E is the 6th. Now the first real conflict of interest that we're gonna find here, if you keep going moving that shape up, is if we play. It's kind of but it may be used as well if you play A flat or G sharp minor 6. So here we have, if you play the note E on top, that's going to be the flat 6, not the natural 6. And I am playing the natural 6 down here, which is natural F. So when I did this here, I moved my first finger to my first finger down a half step, and made it a flat six, and then it works. So for that's enough of a tangent. Let's go back to Fleur de Lis. But just before I close this tangent, for those type of sounds that keep one open string on the top, like even especially like that when there's like a quote unquote wrong note here. Check out the Brazilian composer Ginga. I think he's one of the kings of that, of keeping one open string flowing, and of course there's Villa-Lobos Etude Number 1. That's a classic example of that. Let me play, especially when you get to the second part of the tune. Let me show that. He goes from A flat diminished here and goes down half a step. Regardless of whatever is happening, he's gonna have a pedal E on the bottom and a pedal E on the top as well. And it's really beautiful. That one, it's kind of already on the chord. That is like the major. So the point being, each time he changes the feeling of the chord, the thing in between here, the relationship between that open E and the top string of the chord, the top note of the chord, each time he moves the chord, that relationship changes. And do you think I'm going to play Fleur de Lis, talk about Fleur de Lis more? I doubt. So I just talked about the introduction. Now moving on, I can just show you a few other shapes that I play. So the second chord, when you get after the introduction, C major, F minor, C major, F minor. Valei-me Deus, and then it starts, C major. And then there's a 2-5-1 to A minor. So it's B half diminished, E7, A minor. So what are our options here for open strings? If you simply just keep that open E going, that already works because you have the B half diminished here. So really important to know your instrument, know the notes of the instrument, and know the theory behind the chords. It's not that complicated. You just sit down, turn off the TV, concentrate for a little bit. It's not that crazy, when we talk about chords with 4 notes. It's really like 3 notes, a triad. First, you got to learn the theory behind triads. Good. Then chords with 4 notes and 1 extension is really not that complicated. Then when you get into the harmony that like Schoenberg is using, then that's not I have no idea, but they have different theories. But for just chords with 4 notes, it's super simple. You're playing for a B half diminished. You play a root, diminished 5, minor 7, minor 3rd. Then if you add an open string to that, that's the 11, which... this is controversial, but I like thinking of the scale. Well, what's the scale that's on the chord? You can add different stuff. You can add whatever you want, but as a beginning point. So here, that chord, I'm thinking right now of the scale, 2 scales. Either the C major scale, because the chord is on the C major scale, but this chord is somewhere else as well. It's on the D melodic minor scale. If you just look at the chords of the D melodic minor scale, that chord here is the 6th chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's a B, and if you see the relationship of the chord, all those 4 beautiful little notes are there, and the open E. So then you can make, if you're thinking of the D melodic minor scale, you can add other sounds like that. Okay, so that's a couple. You can also do this one here. Or you do the open B and the open E string on this B have diminished chord. You're kind of losing in the sense of, if you look theoretically, you're like, oh, you're not playing the minor third, and instead you're playing the root twice, which is kind of dumb. But see, it's kind of dumb theoretically, but it sounds good because it has this, the top 4 strings are this here. It's a pretty cool sound, so therefore it's not dumb, it's beautiful. And then for E, so we're doing a 2-5-1 in A minor. So if you just move that shape here, up a minor third, that's a possibility right there. So, let's do the first one first with the minor third. Yeah, this. Oh, they both have their own thing. So if you play that's the second chord here is E, and I'm playing that all. So if that little same shape that we use for half diminished, if we change the root, then you're playing the minor 7, major third, sharp 5, and flat 9. And then if you play the open E, the chord is E7, so of course the E is the root. But it sounds kind of crazy that you were playing the root and it's sounding so rich. It's because you're playing the flat 9. Did I mention flat 9 before? I don't think I did. You're playing the flat 9 and the octave at the same time. So it's a cluster. I hope you're not claustrophobic. So, and a good resolution for that. So see, you can keep those two, at least the E open string for the whole 2-5-1. And for E minor, there's this one here that's also very nice. You can just play the shell voicing, like root, minor 7, minor third, and then the top open strings, which will be the B it's the 9 of A, and you have a cluster. And the open E is just the 5. And I remember I did this thing here because I'm not that creative. Then there are many shapes, kind of like licks, like that I think most people use. Maybe some creative genius don't. Like Tony Horta, he's able to create so many variations of a 2-5-1 on the spot. That's ridiculous. But even Tony Horta has some licks, like some stuff that he does, that he knows that works. And but yeah, some people are more creative than others. There's no point arguing. But what I did here, I played this G minor with an open D. Once again, theoretically, it may sound a little bit stupid to play the 5 of the chord twice. But in this case, I had a purpose because I moved that 5 to a flat 6 to a natural, not to a natural 6. Yeah, to a natural 6, but the bass of the chord already moved to C, so that becomes the major. So you have the major third of C. So you have this little movement here. Da, da, da. And I think that should be enough, right? And then the song goes on, and the song is over, and the melody lingers on. I hope you enjoyed. I only talk about the first, I think, 4 bars of the song, but that's okay. Hope you enjoyed the tangents as well, and maybe I can do a 7-hour video and talk about the whole song. Thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing. You can subscribe for as little as $3 per month, and maybe I'll buy a music stand, a microphone stand, and I can hold the microphone and talk and play at the same time. So, alrighty, later. Thank you.